And we're back. And today we're going to be having a look at Space Engineers. And this is a really odd duck of a game. It is... If you try and start this, it gives you all these tutorials, which you can go look up, and they all lead you to YouTube videos. No, don't do it. I watched them all, and they all seem to be done by one of the developers doing it in some sort of creative mode. No, that's not how you do this. I don't want to start in creative mode. That's never how you start these games. You start these games in, like, survival mode, and then you just die a bunch of times until you learn how not to die. Scenario-wise, we seem to have a really weird setup. This is an action-packed storyline. This is a learn to survive and don't die storyline. This appears to be wave defense. Then there's some sort of mystery thing. Then I think this is a mod that you have to download or a DLC. Then, yeah, there's some other random stuff. I figure simplest thing. We'll go with learning to survive. That seems like that would be a good place to start in this game. How would I describe this so far? Simplest thing would be, imagine Factorio or Satisfactory. It's very similar to those games, except imagine it was developed by someone who exclusively used Linux. That's pretty much as close as I can get to how this works. It seems to be designed so that, yeah, it's super not intuitive at all. For example, here we go, we've got a few tasks to perform on this thing, but the main thing you gotta do is you gotta replace this thing here. You gotta repair this tube, and it's not at all clear how you do that and doesn't give you much instructions, but let's just jump ahead and do it. You basically have to go in and grab some components here and move them over there. That's pretty much it. One here, and when you try and click on this thing, yeah, it shows you down there in the bottom right, we need a bunch of small steel tubes, some motor, and some interior plates. Thankfully, they all exist already in this container right over here. And we come back down over here and we... Come on, fix that thing, would you? Oh, come on, seriously? What are we missing? Oh, I forgot the motors. Fine, all built. This appears to be a conveyor system. And the conveyor system hooks up this thing, which is... this is the oxygen and H2 generator with the survival kit over here. Now, the reason that was important is if we want to reload our oxygen, health, energy, all that stuff listed in the bottom left, we can go up to this and we can just press the F key to recharge all of it. And there we go, they all go up. However, because the conveyor system between this and the oxygen system was not set up correctly or was not finished, it wouldn't actually work, so that's why we had to fix it. Otherwise, we would have had to come over here and manually start doing stuff by maybe cranking in here and grabbing out bottles of oxygen and hydrogen. That's like an awful lot of effort. Now, we do have a ship over here we can start playing around with, but nah, I want to do some mining. What I want to sort of do here is go around and start sucking up all these asteroids. There's a whole bunch of asteroids around here, and we can mine. For example, we have, where is it? This thing here, it's like a mining drill. Let me just show you how this works. We can go down here and there's some ores. Okay, and that allows us to mine up...
Inventory full.
Okay, inventory full, but then we can take this and mine it, or smelt it down. Now, I just have to figure out how to do that. Give me a minute, I'll probably have to look up a dozen tutorials. With a little bit of fiddling about, we found the refinery, which seemed to be under option 6, and we just sort of placed it down there and hooked it up to our system. Now, we appear to be able to refine metals. If we go into K to open the terminal here... Nope. Come on, line up. There we go. K to open terminal. Production. No. Damn it. Inventory. Here we go. It's taking the iron ore and turning it into iron ingots, which is great. We can then probably turn them into something else. Now that means we need something that does production. By going over to this survival kit, it seems this thing can handle most of the basics. We just have to go into production here. And we can queue up our steel plate, construction, girders, interior plates. We can build all of these basic materials. So this requires silicon. Some of these other things require different components. Like this requires nickel. This silicon. Okay, so we need silicon as well. This does allow us though to produce a few basic components so we can build a few extra things. I think the next thing we're going to want to do is build ourselves some sort of device for mining more. For example, we've got iron ore down here, which is great. And then over here, we've got ourselves, if we turn on our light, this is ice. Ice can be turned into oxygen and hydrogen. Iron can be used for basic components, though, we'll grab you. We're going to need a few extra types of material. So let me do some exploring around this weird asteroid we're on. Oh god, this could take me a minute. After running around this asteroid for a bit, I discovered a few new things. Like one, if you just mine up a rock and throw it into this system over here, you can chuck in the rock down here and it will give you iron, nickel, silicone, and gravel. And you can use these, or silicon, depending on where you're from, and you can use all of these to produce most of your basic components. So what I was thinking we could do is, instead of just, normally I think you're supposed to build a mining ship and go around and mine stuff. I was thinking, well, this sort of space station here we've got has power production from those solar panels, batteries, you know, all the basic stuff we need. So why don't we just chop off the asteroid from around it, as in just like mine down here, get rid of all the asteroid bits, and then once the asteroid bits are gone, we can just sort of, you know, stick an engine on this, and then we'll have a mobile space station. Of course, it requires to mine a little bit of rock, and might be a little bit inconvenient, but I think we can manage it. Just give me a few hours here to do some mining. I think we can come up with something a little bit space station-y mobile. So I may have gotten a little distracted. It kind of happens when I play these things. Okay, where can I start? See that little ship up there? Yeah, we actually found that out and about. It turns out there's a few things you can go out and take care of around here, or tasks. One of them leads you to a little mining outpost that gives you this mining ship, which allows you to just sort of drive into asteroids and do a little bit of mining. Can't hold an awful lot, but it is handy for mining a bit. Unfortunately, it's incredibly slow. In fact, it's so slow, I was better off just taking this little ship we had parked over here, flying out to places to find the asteroids we need, and oh, that's why it's been smoking. Oops. I may have crashed this into something at some point. I'll repair that in a bit. In fact, I crashed that into something. Never mind. I then went around and found a whole bunch of different resources like platinum, silver, gold, and eventually repaired up this, finished all its engines and all that, just to have something done. But I think the fiddling around time is done. I think what we can do is we can chop this space station out of this asteroid, and there should be a way to convert this station, or space station, into a ship. I'm not sure it'll work, but I'm willing to give it a try. Now, there's two methods to using this drill. One is you do left click, and that just removes or it will mine the material. Right click just removes the material, no mining involved. So it just destroys it basically. Now I need to go around and destroy an awful lot of asteroid. I have been attempting to cut the asteroid from around our base. Unfortunately, the asteroid, it turns out, is inside the base. I kind of just have to chop up the floors. So if we go grab this floor here, which at some point, yeah, there we go. You know, there's actually rock inside it. I'm going to have to do some severe renovations if we want to extract these two. I may just have to rip out all the floors, drill out everything that's underneath, and then replace them. This could take another minute. There we go. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? We managed to cut out all the floors, cut out everything beneath it. The whole thing should be extracted from the asteroid. Now, in theory, we should be able to turn this into a ship. In theory. In practice, who knows? This thing might just go horribly wrong. But I think the plan will be... What is even that? Oh yeah, I think there's one or two of these lying around the mess. I don't know if these are part of whatever it is that spawns this mission, but we'll just go straight up. I think what we'll do is we'll stick on a couple of engines. You're going to need a few engines to make this move, and a gyroscope. Oh, and a pilot seat. So I think we're just going to try and go straight up. So long as we can extract it from the asteroid in any way, shape, or form, we can then just sort of roam around the asteroid field, sucking up resources and processing them on this little platform. Let me see about putting the engines on, though. It would appear there are several... Well, there's two main engine types in this. There's atmospheric thrusters, well, there's hydrogen thrusters and there's ion thrusters. Ion thrusters work in space, but they're super weak. Hydrogen thrusters work everywhere, and they're super strong, but they do actually consume resources, as in hydrogen. You can go... You know what? We will stick you there. Okay, I'm going to have to get some iron plates in my inventory. That's one thing I dislike about this. I can't figure out a way to just decide what I need from my inventory. Like there, I need 20 steel plates, 10 construction components, 1 power cell, 4 computers. But I can go up to my inventory and then I have to remember which pieces I need. It's really confusing and, well, confusing, just frustrating. There has to be a simpler way to pick things up out of your inventory. After spending far too much time collecting all the necessary components to put together the 2 hydrogen engines, we have this, abomination. It's just 1 engine that goes up, 1 engine that goes down, and then we have a pilot seat chair strapped to it. There's, I don't know what the hell you call this thing. Alright, let's get in. I don't think we can... Yeah, I don't think we can take off yet. I think what we need to do is open up the control seat. Wait, 1 second, get back in again. We want to open the control panel, and then there should be an option in here to turn this into a ship. Convert to ship. Not a platform. Right. Now, don't explode. Okay. It sounds like it didn't explode. We're trying to move and nothing's happening. Dampener, you know what? Let's get out and see what's going on around here. What are you doing? Oh. That thing doesn't like this. You know what? Let's, maybe you can't dock a ship to another ship. Get out of here. Quick. Oh my god, I've forgotten how awkward this was. Yeah, this thing is set up for mining, so the camera location is a little bit... God, you know what? It's fine. It's far enough out of the way. We can just exit the ship. And you can stay there while we try and remove this thing. Okay, that was weird. Let's see what happens if we try and hop into our new ship, shall we? No, still doesn't like it. In fact, it's making some weird noises. I mean, you can see that there's it's movement per millisecond movement speed or something, or meters per second is actually moving. Let me have a quick gander and see if anything's interacting with anything else. We have this whole thing fueled up. The whole ship seems to be ready. Let's just blast off, maybe? No, that's not the one. Come on, ship. Can you move? Actually, we'll turn inertia dampers off. And that does nothing. What's wrong? Are we tied down, maybe? Damn it, I was really hoping we could get off this rock and move this whole thing. Maybe my engines are just not powerful enough. I think I found our problem. It's whatever that magical rock is right there. We need to get... Damn it. These drills. The drill does some weird thing where sometimes it just shows up and it takes over your whole screen. Okay, there we go. Come on. Whatever that is, please get rid of it. Just don't destroy the... No, that... Yeah, that's actually just destroying the ship, isn't it? God damn it. I think we're going to have to remove everything from this area. We can't have that there. So... damn it. Well, that's my own fault. I probably shouldn't have been building like this. But, you know, it was more fun. Alright, I think if we cut this out of the way, we might be able to get rid of that. We might have to get rid of this as well. But you know what? Let's see if we can't take off with that gone. Come here. Yeah, I wasn't really very hopeful. I mean, the mass of this thing is just incredible, and we're trying to move it with one engine. Hey, it's one very good engine, though. Let me think some more. After deleting way too much stuff to avoid that janky whatever it was sticking out thing, we have managed to separate our ship from the asteroid. We now have a portable base. I really didn't think this was going to be possible. Also, it's sort of drifting sideways, and I have no way of stopping that because I don't have an engine that faces that direction. Let's just run into it a bit. Does that slow it? I placed a whole bunch of metal frames left and right to try and even it out because it was sort of wobbling all over the place. But there we go. We now have a portable base. We just have to fly to another asteroid somewhere and, yeah, mine it. Also, I gotta put a whole bunch more engines on it. I think we're going to recycle... Where is it? Where is our mining ship? We're probably going to recycle our mining ship and use the engine bits from it to make engines for this to go in the other directions. Just so that we have some way of slowing it down. The engines won't be very powerful, but we don't need them to be. We just need to get to where we're going. Okay, this is... Oh, crap. I don't have enough time to keep doing this, do I? This game just takes an incredible amount of time. Though, I suppose that may be down to me just trying to do something this silly. But we've got a mobile space station that's got all of the building blocks we need to survive. Though I did get killed when I deleted the hydrogen and oxygen unit because it exploded a whole bunch of ice in my face and launched me across the map and splattered me against a wall. So that's a pretty good sign, but a few tips for you if you are playing this game. 1. GPS coordinates. Make them. I discovered this near the end. You can make a, say, new from current position, and we're going to call that, let's just say, cobalt. So you find something you want to mine, you can put a GPS tracker on it, and then you can go back to that position whenever you find it, because resources, sometimes they're a pain to locate. Also, the very first thing you should do is maybe put some GPS coordinates on your base. Unless it's mobile, of course, in which case you should probably put a beacon on it, and oh my god, we're still drifting. I've really got to stick some engines on this thing. But yes, impressions of this game. It seems to be just you build a lot, you get a lot of building blocks, and the survival mode is effectively finding all the resources you need and then mining them. And there's a lot. It's not just iron and gold. There's also a whole bunch more. Let's just go in here and have a look. We have got, come on, give it to me. We've got silicon as well, which we can find in its raw form, or we can find a pure vein of it. Same with nickel, same with iron, same with silver, cobalt, gold, platinum. There is a lot of different resource types. Building in this is, it's weird. It's just the only way I can describe building in this is it's very, very weird. Like if you want to go and build this thing over here, you bring up your blowtorch to build it, and it gives you all of those components on the right hand side. However, yeah, if you don't have all of those components on you, you then have to figure out what you need and go back and queue up the constructor to build it. And it's just so janky. You end up remembering 3 or 4 component types you need, then coming back and going, oh, I'm missing a few more, and then running back and forth a bunch of times. Maybe there's an easier way to do it. I couldn't discover it myself just from random play. Though, I think there's sort of a limited amount. If we go into here, let's say, you can find all the block types. So as far as I can tell, you just build yourself little chips and stick them together. There's only really 2 main engine types, the hydrogen and the ion engines. So yeah, I think there's a sort of a limited amount of things you can do. I think the best example of that would be this thing back here. Hold on when we turn off dampeners for a minute. This thing back here, yoink, is probably a good example of a ship. You can actually strip off the components and see how it's put together. So, wait, one more. There you go. That's just an actual block. That's literally all it is, strapped on top of it. You can get rid of the blocks and just have the pure core of this ship flying around the place as a sort of a naked ship if you wanted. For example, that right there is a hydrogen engine. This right here is an oxygen tank. Then over here we've got your actual thrusters. These are just strapped on together. Power seems to flow entirely through the blocks. So as long as you have blocks, power can flow through it. If you don't, well, was it resources themselves? They need conveyors. And where did my space station go? Oh, there it is. Hey, it's a space station now. Okay, and turn on dampeners. Alright, for example, we'll go over to this over here. Go. Sorry, this thing's moving right now, which is a little bit awkward. I'm not really used to that. We'll go through to connected inventories on this sucker. Once you access this, you can access the connected inventories for everything that's in it. I really wish it was all still connected together, but you can do things like this. You can basically manage all your production from here. So there's one of my refineries, Refinery 2, and that's currently refining magnesium ore and cobalt ore. Where is that? I think that's refinery over here. This is basic refinery. Then, that's an assembler over there. That's our basic assembler for producing basic assembly complete pieces. And over here we have refinery number 3. But all of those are built together. They're all linked through the system. In other words, if I access any single part of this, I can access all of them, assuming they're linked together via these sort of yellow square connectors. So you sort of want to keep your base all connected via these, so you can... Oh my god, it's so annoying with this moving right now. So as long as you keep everything connected together, you can manage all your construction of components and your mining. As well as that, when you land your ships, I landed one of our ships up here on top of this thing, and when it's landed here, the inventory of the ship is also accessible by the entire base, and they can share power, though I never really got too much into that. So that means I can go out and use our mining ship to mine, then bring it back here, use that, and that will, after it's mined, it will automatically dump all its resources onto the system so it can all get mined or all get processed into its metallic forms. But outside of that, I think it'd basically be a case of I would take this thing, strap a whole bunch of mining drills onto the front here, and then just drive it into an asteroid and suck up all the materials in it. And then you'd have a sort of a big industrial brick behind it that would convert all of the resources from the asteroid and just mine it down. Because you can convert everything, including the rock. So long as you have enough mining drills in the front, I figure you could just fly through an asteroid field, picking up all the resources. It would take you a long time to build, but once you're finished, you'd basically have something that could just plow through everything, sucking up all the resources in the entire system until you could build whatever you want. Actually, you know what? There is a planet over there. I think you can probably land on that planet. I could be wrong. Ooh, this thing goes up to 110. And when you turn off your inertial dampeners, you can just start flying at high speeds. For example, where are we? Where's our ship gone? Yep, never mind. You can move at incredibly high velocities in this, and then as long as you turn off your dampeners, you don't actually slow down. This is space, so once you start moving in one direction, you don't stop. I wonder what happens, how far away that planet is, and if we can make re-entry. One other thing I can't quite wrap my head around is why the mining drill does this every so often. It just takes up your entire field of view, and then you can still use it. It just, the crosshairs is now not at all lined up with the animation. I don't know why. Sometimes it's fine, and then other times it does that. I have no idea why. Up, look, and it drifts again. I don't know why it drifts. Maybe it's a graphical bug or something like that. But that just seems there's a few little pieces of jank in this game that are a bit weird. Well, it turns out that planet is a lot further away than I thought. We are either going to freeze or run out of oxygen, whichever. However, I was pointing at the start, this game is a bit, it's a bit like it was designed by Linux users. And by that I mean, you have, for example, you're wearing a helmet, and if you press the J button, you can open your helmet visor. And it has no problem with you doing that in space. It doesn't warn you, it doesn't let you know, yep, you just start choking to death. It has no problem with you doing that. You can take your base and strap some engines to it. Will it cause the base to fall over sideways and not actually launch properly? Yeah, they don't mind. This game doesn't care if you want to do things that won't work. It will just let you. It won't warn you. It'll just let you do whatever you want. Fun in one way and scary in another. I don't know. Interesting. We got 2 games left after this now. We got Stationeers and Starsector. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at Space Engineers, and honestly, it's a very brief look. I think 90% of it would be all, 90% of this would be shipbuilding. Anyway, good luck.